So, welcome back on my channel, Lightwave Guru, Prometheus. Your question was, did you ever cover the volume procedural setup for Octane or someone else maybe in a tutorial? I have no idea. I make too much videos the last 10 years. But we can talk a little bit about that. So let us close that here. And you see a simple example what procedural textures in a volume can do for you in Octane. So that I built in the last 5 seconds. So you see there a simple null object, and that null object have a dimension from 1 meter. Yeah. So I sent you then the scene so you can then for yourself play with that scene to understand what's happened. So that means I play here now a little bit with that options and talk a little bit about it. Yeah, so that's not a tutorial, that's only to explain a little bit the scene. Yeah, so you see there a little background, that's only some polys. Yeah, so we have a background, and in front you see that null object, and you see that that null object looks like a box. Yeah, and for that you can go under volumetric null. You can see it here, and go to appearance to Lightwave Octane volumetric options, and you open that. Would you see that you have different volumetric modes, and one from that volumetric modes are procedural. Yeah. So if you want to use the procedural mode, then is it activated? Yeah. So if you need OpenVDB or TFD, use another one. For that case here, procedural is your friend. And also you have here some options to build up your procedural setup. The first is to define, okay, what kind of volume shape would I have? For that example, I simply take now the shape sphere, but you can also say, okay, make it as cube or take a mesh. That means you must not load a null object for that. You can also load the mesh and say then, okay, I want which with a shape from that mesh build my procedural or give on that mesh. Yeah, here a procedural texture. For that case, here is it a sphere. You can also play with the volume fall off, and that's here that grid resolution. That is how exact the grid would build. In simple words, you know that that's grid size means, or the resolution means how big R is one from my cells, yeah, in that volume grid. Yeah, you know what I mean. And you can give here the maximum and minimum coordinates for that what you want to do. So we see here exactly a 1 meter a box, and the volume shape of that box, yeah, I built it here with that 1 meter, is a sphere. So now you can go as next to the volumetric node editor, and you would see now what I do here. And you can see here that I play a little bit with the options we have there. By the way, that's built here with 2019 1.5 and Octane version 4.05 or something like that. It's probably possible that if you load it with Octane version in Lightwave 2024, it looks in another way, but not important. The way is the same. Yeah. So the volumetric engine, the render engine is changed from Octane 4 to the actual version from today, but that's in principle play no role. So I explain only the basic things. Yeah. So if you open that, we go back one more time here. If you open that here, volumetric node editor, you found per default that here. That's Octane Volumetrics, and here you can put in a procedural texture from Lightwave. For that example, I put in here the flakes. Yeah, and that we see that I built also in a medium, and that's the Octane scattering medium with the Octane texture emission. Yeah, so if I put it off, you see not so much. Yeah, so let it put in, so it's self illuminated a little bit, and you can then say here with power and something like that what you would do there. Yeah, for example, if I make here the power now higher, yeah, it would be go lighter, and so on and so on. Also, if you play, for example, with efficiency and mix it with another color for the efficiency, you become effects like that. Yeah, then you get a blue tinted in that volume. So in the moment the efficiency is white and good is. Here it's all on. Have here a little sample rate. Well, that's all not so important. Much more important is here that absorption and scattering parameter. The density stand for, density. Yeah. So if I make it not so dense, then you see, okay, it go more, it would be lighter. So if we give him more density, and it looks in that way. And the red color is a complementary color from the absorption channel, and that's that blue here. Yeah. So if I use, for example, the complementary color, then I have that color. Yeah. And you see here in the rendering that volume represent that flakes. Yeah. So for example, if I change now the size for the flakes, I say now, okay, I need bigger flakes. So the flake texture would be bigger. Then do that and say then here reload. Yeah. And then if it reloaded, then you have it in that way. Yeah. You see it here. So you can also build with Octane Volumetrics fantastic things. You see for every from that procedural texture here is outside a line, and that line comes from a little effect you can put in there, and that's that face here. Yeah. And you can with that face also playing. Yeah. So do you see it? Yeah. You can make more blurry or more exact. Yeah. For example, with that parameter. Also the volume step length. If you make the volume step length higher, then it render quicker and faster, but it is not so defined. Yeah. You see it. So if you bring the volume step length down, you become a more concrete, more render that show you exact what's happened there. Yeah. So for example, let us check for another procedural texture, and there are many from them. Yeah. Let us take a look in the 2D textures here, or in the 3D textures, what's happened there. Let us take a honeycomb or something like that. Yeah, put it in the absorption texture and make a reload, and then you can see what that happens there. Yeah, so you can build the wildest effect. Yeah. So for example, I think you would build something like that here for your tests with your volumetric clouds, and so then put in something like, this here for example, that's rigid multifractal, reload it, or something like that, and play with the option, play with the size, and so on and so on. And so you can build with procedural textures from Lightwave, then volumetric things with procedural textures. Yeah. So here's it now all 1 meter. I bring it here to white, and let us test in what way it looks if I make the scaling more little. So it's play with it. Yeah, you become very funny outputs, also abstract outputs if you want, and something like that, if you play with it. And one more tip, you see it here, now you can see it, that's the scaling, bring me that, what the rigid multifractal node can do. That's really funny. So if you animate that over time and render it out, it looks directly, also out of space, from another star. Nobody knows what it is, but it looks interesting. Yeah, it looks like so micro lens things in the macrocosmos or in the microcosmos or something. So in that direction. Yeah. So I sent you now the scene, and then you can play with that. I save now the scene, let all that here in, so that you can drop it in and out and play with that and have fun. Yeah. So I hope it helped you a little bit to set up procedurals with Octane. Yeah. So later. And you would found the scene file for download under the video. Yeah, I set there a link. Later, bye.